Welcome once again to Capital Foundry, where we sort of get out there and test the graphical capabilities of these new games. And I wanted to do a very graphical powerhouse on the PlayStation 5 side, even though it is a cross-gen title, with Horizon Forbidden West. Yes, Horizon Forbidden West going against the latest from Xbox Game Studios in Redfall. Yes, Redfall got a lot of hate and gets a lot of kind of criticisms for the graphics, but if you look at it right here in a side-by-side with Horizon Forbidden West, you see that it doesn't actually look that bad. A lot of people kind of give it a bad rap and say a lot of negative things about it, but at the end of the day, I feel like it is a solid game, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. You can ask for a game to come out and look great and be a fantastic game like this. I don't think that it is a tremendous game by any means, but when you compare certain tangible items to something like Horizon Forbidden West, you start to realize that, hey, maybe this game isn't so bad. And what I mean by that is any game with Aloy is going to take a few knocks for being incredibly boring and just a game that's kind of unfun to play. But I think that we should maybe kind of jump into this and see what's up. Let's first take a look at Horizon Forbidden West running on the PlayStation 5. Now this is running in performance mode, so you get that close to 60 feel, but as you can see, a fairly good looking game. I think it's a game that a lot of people kind of look at and point to as a game that is taking a lot of graphical capabilities and things like that, and I think that's a fair kind of assessment. When you look at this and you go, okay, well, what's going on with this game? Is it really worthwhile? Is it really that graphical showpiece that people say it is? I think that it is a really good graphical showpiece. I think that they've done a good job with it, but I also think there's more to just a game than graphics. And what I mean by that is, I can remember the games from Crytek, most certainly, and a lot of those games, the Crysis games in particular, look absolutely gorgeous and remind me a lot of this, right? Because they're gorgeous games, you think they're going to be good games, and then you go and play them, and they aren't good games, they just aren't fun, they're kind of boring, they have lackluster characters. That's what this game sort of reminds me of. It really is that sort of sad situation where Aloy is such a boring character, it makes the game unfun to play. And games at their core need to be fun. While if we look at a game like Redfall, sure, it's not the best game ever. Like, I fully admit that. I think that it is a game that it needed a lot of work and was far from perfect, clearly. But at the same time, if you look at it and you can say, okay, well, is there any fun to be had in here at all? I think obviously the answer would be yes, because this game is actually fun and they've managed to do some very interesting things with it that I think a lot of people are going to kind of enjoy. So many people just decided to want to hate on the game instead of actually going out and letting the game kind of do the talking for itself. And I think that's really a shame, because Arcane has done some pretty good games in their past, and this is one of them. I think this is a good game. Certainly, when I look at sort of the review scores, and I mentioned this with Zelda multiple times, I don't think Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom or whatever are particularly great games. And I think if you just change that, get rid of Zelda, and he's just some hobo running around doing the same things, I don't think that game gets a 96 Metacritic score. I think it gets like a 75, right? I'm just being honest. And so when you look at it, people go, oh, well, no, people were trying to show me Pokemon scores from Metacritic, and I think the Pokemon game that came out is a 72, which is a respectable, decent Metacritic score, considering everybody was literally saying that the game was completely broken and unplayable, right? Freezing up, you couldn't do it. So a game that was completely broken from Nintendo gets a 72, but a game that I managed to play completely through and put 20 hours into in Redfall is what, a 56 or whatever it is? Like, to me, a 56 would mean you can't even get into the game, right? Like, not that you hate, like, people literally just pile on the hate when it comes to Xbox games, and it's unfortunate because I think, like, they've done a pretty good job with the games. And yes, you can look at this, and for my personal taste, I played and put more hours into Redfall than I did in Horizon Forbidden West. Even though I think Horizon Forbidden West is the slightly better looking game, the characters are so boring. You almost can't stand it. I don't understand what people are thinking when they think that Aloy, not even just Aloy, but the other characters are just so awful. It's really kind of hard to sort of put it into place with what it is. Just a really kind of average game. And I find it to be super unfortunate that it's a game that gets so much hype and so much credit, and at the end of the day, what's it for? What's it all about? Because honestly, when you think of great games, and listen, it's not a PlayStation versus Xbox thing, because guess what? When we look at what PlayStation's able to accomplish, God of War, great game. The Spider-Man games have been really great. Uncharted's been great. But then again, when you look at Microsoft, they've had some really good games too, but people don't give them the credit that they deserve when it comes to, great content and great games. People are easy to kind of cast aside these games and go, hey, these games aren't as good as they should be. For me, is Redfall a little bit of a letdown from what maybe I wanted or what I expected? I think that it needed to be, it's hard to say even how much longer they would have needed to polish it or anything like that, because I think that the games do require some type of delay or whatever, and I'm just not sure that the game was ever going to be able to be where it needed to be, and people weren't going to like it because it wasn't a typical Arcane game. That's the funny part about video games and the video game media and stuff like that. People are so quick to point out, oh, hey, this, I'm tired of playing the same old thing, do something different, blah, blah, blah. And then when they do something different, it gets kind of dumped on again and again and again. And I just find that to be unsavory. And I think that it's not only unsavory, but I think that it's also unfair that games get treated that way, because I feel like, so many people piled on to the game. And again, when I'm saying Redfall is a fun game, it was a fun game for me to play with friends. If you're playing it solo, I wouldn't think that it was a fantastic game by any means, and even so, I would only give it a 7 out of 10, maybe something like that. And people look at it and go, oh, well, you're just being biased, or you're capping, or whatever. And to me, that never made sense, because putting 20 hours of your life into a game that honestly that wouldn't be that you hated, that never made sense to me. It never flew with me. And hopefully you all understand where I'm coming from this. So that's not to say that Horizon Forbidden West is god awful or anything like that. I think it's a great looking game. It's just, to me, a very clunky, chunky game with bad voice acting and terrible and boring characters, whereas Redfall was a lot of fun. I thought the gunplay was fun, and it had vampires, so plus 1,000 for that. Aloy minus 1,000 for that, and then your clear winner here would be Redfall. So I mean, those are the facts. We got to deal with it. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Subscribe. Crap Gamer out.